Oh. Download. I didn't download this. I can start in a second. Hey, 3 minutes in. Hi everyone. My name is Lynx. Welcome to the indie game collective showcase of Blake. Now, this is another graphic or visual novel. Or rather it says graphic novel meets visual novel, which is why I use fairly interactive story. I don't know much what the main story is about. I did not fully look it up. I know it's supposed to be like a fairly dark brain working, mind bending when it comes to that, but I'm really excited to see what it's about and to show you a bit of the first part of gameplay and then see whether it's gonna be something that I play offline and post for you people here, or whether it's something I plan to stream live. So let's get started. Contains themes around mental health, violent, and destructive behaviors. The images, themes, and language used within this game may be disturbing or triggering to some players. Viewer discretion is advised. Oh, self-voicing?
Self-voicing enabled. Blake felt the cold air on his face as he opened his eyes. Self-voicing disabled.
Oh my god, this is so amazing. This is wonderful for... I hope I say this right, but this is amazing for anybody who has who doesn't see well, who has problems with their eyesight, and or doesn't know how to read, and probably a lot more people that I currently can't think of. Wow, okay. I've not experienced something like this in a long time. Blake felt the cold air on his face as he opened his eyes. He stepped back from the ledge. Blake woke up. What a weird dream. It felt so real. I must have slept so heavy I didn't even hear my alarm go off. Blake was seldom tardy for work or any other occasion for that matter. No time for his morning peanut butter on toast. He couldn't be late. He was still considered new at ICC, only days away from completing probation, and he had to make a good impression. Better get it going. Boop. Life can often be unpredictable, and this was particularly true for Blake. Random happenstances had a way of following him like a stubborn pebble wedged into the sole of his shoe. No amount of picking could dislodge it, and it was accompanied by a certain amount of discomfort with every step. And he would never admit it, but sometimes he may even have consciously trod on the stones of spontaneity. Ooh. On a daily basis, Blake's colleagues at ICC would bicker over the best immersive gaming experience of the year, brag about their newest techie purchases, and speculate on who would next meet their demise in the popular weekly e-screen installment of Fixing Good. Blake's played it! Max's eyes suddenly popped up from behind the top of the computer screen. Don't you think the offline co-op made AI in futures is totally Vin, am I right? I'm right, right? Max leaned towards Blake's direction, with a hand walling her mouth. Walling? Sorry, I don't know this word. And a forcible whisper as she exclaimed, "Back me up, Blake." Orlo spurted out an intentionally inelegant laugh, which in turn made Max giggle. Vin, what are you? Are you from another planet? What the fuck does Vin mean? You're just making up words. It means ridiculous, just like your laugh. Anyway, he doesn't give two hoots about futures, you big nerd. You can talk, you're the one hero who owns a whole VR room. The last time you get used to it then. You get to use it then. There they go again. Hey, Blake. Oh God, not her, please not her. He swiveled in his chair. Hey, Harry. Harry was a masterpiece, best admired from afar. She was one of those beautiful paintings that could speak 1,000 words without saying anything. Seriously though, she could try not saying anything sometimes. Did you have a good weekend? Her fingers spiraled in her hair as she tilted her head in curiosity. Didn't do much, just the usual. You? Oh, why did he even ask? Oh my God, yes. I went on a road trip with my girlies to the forest. We ate marshies over the fire. They were delish. And I saw a unicorn. My friend said I wouldn't see one out there, but I finally did. If every sentence she spoke was written, Blake imagined they would always end in exclamation marks. Excuse me, what? I heard a noise in the middle of the night, unzipped my tent, and in the distance, I swear I saw a unicorn galloping through the trees. I must have startled it. Did she seriously think unicorns exist? It was probably a cow or a stag or something. Just not a unicorn. Her skin flushed to a color similar to Max's hair. Oh, yeah, you're right. Well, you should come along with us next time. We could have a BBQ at night and look for shooting stars. Putting up with her for a whole weekend would be a tough feat, but maybe it wouldn't be that bad. Would you go camping with me? Sure. Okay, cool. Blake smiled softly and turned back to his work. A giggle sang from Harry as she headed back to her female colleagues, with a small skip in her step, eager to tell them about the conversation. A slender figure hovered beside the desk. It was the junior tech expert, Lee. ICC snapped him up before he could throw his graduation hat in the air. No one knew what Lee's forename was. Most people in the office didn't realize it was his surname, but Blake had noticed. He noticed Lee's email address started with S. Lee, not the standardized first name surname layout. Lee was like a ball of plasma that dissipated nervous energy. His vision flitted from one thing to another, mostly managing to avoid meeting the eyes. It was as though he was preoccupied with taking in everyone and everything. He displayed anxious head twitches after every sentence, but his voice wore a friendly and happy tone. Most of the time, he was elusive and hardly ever spotted around the office. Or maybe the word noticed was more apt. Hey, Blake. Lee held a smile as his eyes scoured over Blake's desk space. Mr. Gordon would like to see you in his office, if you have a moment. Yeah, lead the way. Max and Orla continued to argue over futures behind the desk and looked like they were about to try to involve him again. Now Blake had an excuse to slip away from the office debate and abstain from choosing sides. Well, hello there, Mr. Agardley. How's things? Going well, I hope? Ryan was Chief Operating Officer at ICC. Whenever Blake saw her in the office, she was usually rushing around on urgent business. to be in her position with one of, if not the world's leading tech firm, meant that she had to be extremely efficient. Although Blake had been working there for a while, he hadn't talked to Rand much. It was always brief pleasantries and all small talk, so it took him aback when she said his name. They weren't on first name terms yet. All good, thanks. I've been told Mr. Gordon wants to see me about something. Is he about? He should be back any minute. This is kind of embarrassing, but I've been meaning to have a get-to-know-you chat. I've just been so busy, then poof, 2 months whizzed by. She gave an encouraging and gentle smile. For someone with so many plates to spin, she had a defyingly calm and welcoming aura. The conversation was cut short as Jonathan entered the office. Ah, I see you're already here. Welcome. Take a seat, Blake. Rye, will you be joining us? I'm a busy bee today, so I'm a stash. Blake, we'll have that catch up soon. Oh, and Jonathan, I've left those papers you asked for on your desk. So I have no idea why you use that stuff. She chuckled. That's lovely, thank you, Rye. He nodded in appreciation. A barely visible wave from her hand could be seen as she rushed out the door, set on the work ahead. Jonathan settled down into his overpriced, real leather ergonomic "I'm the founder of the successful corporation" chair. All of his energy turned to Blake. So, Blake, you wanted to see me, Mr. Gordon? It was a regular occurrence for Jonathan to request mini-meetings with his staff. He said he liked to check up on the newest members to see how they were settling in. This is some fine work you've carried out on the Promenade case. Only thing I'd like to point out is the daily stats for your spreadsheet. They don't correspond to the correct dates. Apart from that minor alteration, it's all looking very dandy. Jonathan was holding a copy of the screenshot in his hand, a paper screenshot. Blake had rarely seen paper up close. Jonathan laid it down flat against the table and slid it towards Blake. The material bowed upwards from the rush of air in front of him before it rested back down. Paper used to be made from trees. Little known fact for you. Now they only manufacture it by 3D printing a synthetic material that feels a lot smoother in comparison to the original. Blake reached over and grasped onto the sheet of paper. It felt drier than he'd anticipated, and this made him notice how clammy his palms were. This paper was made for the art enthusiasts like myself, and I use art in both manners of the term. Blake studied the figures on the handheld screenshot. Looks like a couple of equations have gone out of sync. It'll be a quick fix. My apologies. After analyzing the data, he set the paper down on the table, and to his disdain, his grip left the creased remnants. Good. It's no problem. Anywho, that's not the real reason I asked you here. I know you haven't been in the company very long, and you have quite the workload. Stress headache started to rear its ugly head, and momentarily double vision distracted Blake. Momentary. Oops. Thought about how no one had come up to him with a cure for migraines yet. Staring at screens all day couldn't be healthy. Thankfully, it was brief for Blake, but he realized he'd completely missed what Jonathan had said. He hoped it wasn't anything too important. Sorry, what did you say? Jonathan nodded reassuringly and delivered a warm smile. You're doing well, Blake. I hope you realize that. I have an exceedingly crucial project coming up, so I need someone I can count on. I'd like you to be part of it. It will allow you to show me what you can manifest. Oh, and the annual well-being test deadline is today, so if you haven't done it, make sure to get it sent off. Should be in your inbox. It's only a few questions long, so it shouldn't take much time to do. Max and Orlo were still deep in conversation. Did they ever do any work? Do you remember Eric, droid guard? He used to bounce the reception. Yeah, I do actually. What happened to him? I heard they keep him in a big bag in the room behind the front desk. Really? Yeah, he was sacked. Oh man, I felt for that one. I wonder what actually happened to him though. A notification popped up on Blake's screen. One new email. I should probably do the well-being test. Also a birthday card. Wait, what? Harry's birthday. In less than 2 weeks. Please make sure to sign her e-card. There. That's simple. Meeting invite. Chris Mortar, okay. Okay. This form is not anonymous. All information is secure and shared. Support may be offered to tailor your needs at work. How are you feeling today, Blake? I have a bit of a headache, so I'm okay. Out of the following fears, which do you relate to most right now? Maybe the bills. If you could see a scale above people's head that measured one part of their status, what would you want to know about them? Their happiness. How often would you say your days differentiate enough for you to distinguish within a week? Not many days are different. Nope, you're wrong. KillVR is a good person. That's why they do what they do. If that's so, why have they accepted all the money made from the publicity instead of giving it to charity? I know Blake agrees with me here. We were talking about it last week. Stop trying to drag people into your losing battle, or it doesn't work. So it's only okay when you do it? I mean, if I've apparently agreed with him, then I will agree with him again. Yep, I agree. Max let out a huff and rolled her eyes. Max started to frantically prod eyes at the screen, and all eyes slowly looked around at her. What the helicopter? Has someone changed the details on my spreadsheet for the radar project? All of my work, it's totally gone. Orlo, this isn't one of your pranks, isn't it? Nope, not me, I swear. Something similar happened to one of my files too. Really? Do you think someone could be doing it on purpose? I'm definitely going to report this. I should be able to retrieve a backup of my work from yesterday, so everything I've done today will be lost. But at least the whole file isn't gone. That would have been a shit ton of work. Max looked deflated. I know. It's Vin. It's not what that word means, Arlo. Nah. Is it for vintage? Welcome, Blake. I'm so glad you accepted my invite. It's good to see you again. I have an exciting project for you to get involved in. Alright, so usually meetings were held in one of the 12-seater meeting rooms. However, this seemed more of a cozy affair. Blake preferred it to the meeting rooms, which were always set at an extreme temperature. He theorized that the temperature was deliberate, a freezing cold room when the meetings required full alertness and flowing creativity, or a toasty warmth that could lull you into light slumber of compliance when the agenda was one where fewer opinions were appreciated. Chris, this is Blake, one of our newest recruits. For a man of such otherworldly stature, Chris gave Blake a disappointingly limp handshake. Maybe he was purposely exercising caution. After all, those paws could easily crush a coconut. Hi, Chris. Nice to meet you. And you. Gentlemen, take a seat. Chris and Blake shuffled onto the sofa in the office, perched beside one another. Jonathan stood in the front of them and made use of the projected touchscreen on the wall behind him. You may have noticed the agenda in the meeting invite was missing. Blake and Chris nodded in tandem. Jonathan brought up the meeting invite onto his screen and swiped his hand across the empty space after the word agenda. A black box appeared over the text, which highlighted and revealed the words Project HG. The project name had been written in white against the background, which had concealed the words on the screen. Jonathan smirked to himself, thrilled at the opportunity to finally employ a classic spy trick used by protagonists in the espionage novels of bygone years that he so loved. He steeled himself for the introduction, intended to be seared with finesse, sprinkled with style, and served up with panache. At least, this was how he hoped to deliver it. Jonathan often considered himself a pompous old fool and marveled at the fact that the rest of the world hadn't caught on yet. Every instant message and email you send, every word you speak or text, every update you make on your phone, every movement your e-screens, consoles, and computers on, they are all recording your data. Blake suppressed a smile, musing that here he was witnessing Jonathan at his finest. A gleam in the CEO's eyes was like that of a religious zealot, compelling those around him to follow. Blake wondered if this was a trait Jonathan had always possessed, or if it was a latent ability that manifested later in life. For a select few shadowy clients, those circumstances and contracts decree they shall remain anonymous. We have been working on Project HG, a system that blocks all records of the sender's ID, location, even their existence when used. Image text filing on your screen is though plucked from the ether itself, utterly incognito. Just think of the military and security applications. It's as though you're receiving a message from a ghost, a spy stream. Heavens, why do you think they call themselves spooks? Jonathan decided to omit the line about it having nothing to do with the regular haunts comprising of flashcard dealerships and boudoirs of high-class call girls. He included that an extended metaphor could often provoke irksome and the mention of fast cards and loose women may distract his listeners' minds from the crucial subject matter. Jonathan took out a flat, handheld screen, not any model Blake recognized. The phone in the center of the desk released a disruptive twitter in between Chris and Blake. Who does it say is calling? The display unit lit up and displayed incoming call from... The incoming call stopped. Complete anonymity. His voice lowered toward the end of the word anonymity for a dramatic effect, and he interlaced his fingers in a satisfied power pose. Blake could only hope that one day he'd be able to captivate an audience with such a passionate verve. And although Jonathan's theatrical performance was inspiring, to say the least, he found his attention dare to flicker over to Chris. Once Blake had noticed Chris' inelegant... Oof, this is a word. Inelegant idiosyncrasies out of the corner of his eye, he couldn't help monitoring him periodically throughout the meeting. Chris' left hand was placed on the smooth black meeting room table in a fist, while the right held an obsolete and unusual large e-pen, positioned as if to note something down, but not accompanied by a tablet. The feeling of Chris's gaze twitching over him, accompanied by an uncomfortably blank expression, caused an uneasiness to slither through Blake. Primarily, the HG device is advanced crypto processing software. We collated feedback from our clients, and the results showed that they desired software that solely connects to the HG device, rendering it incompatible with any other hardware. This means the software is highly, if not completely, secure from interception and piracy. There are currently two types of HG, the flat tablet and the touchboard tablet. Jonathan showed them the sleek black tablet. The touchboard slid out from underneath the screen with a satisfyingly smooth click into position. The touchboard was blank. The keys only illuminated once the gadget was activated. So if I send a message to someone who has the device, how does that work? Good question, Blake. You cannot send a direct message to someone who has an HG device, unless they have initiated conversation, as there is no number to identify the user with. This means you can reply to emails and texts, but not initiate a voice or video call. You also cannot see messages sent from an HG device if you log into the same account on an external device. Exempli gratia, Chris. If I send you an email from the HG device and you open the email from your home computer, you would then only be able to access the message on the said home computer. You would not be able to view it if you logged into your email account from another device such as your phone or work computer. Understand? Blake and Chris bobbed their heads in unison again. When you use the HG device, you create a new, untraceable path for your message. So if you send a message to someone from the HG, the recipient will see it and be able to retain it. However, it won't show who it's from. Keeping a record will deem the message unsecure, because if the recipient's device falls into a third party's hands, they can retrieve the information. Additionally, due to the state-of-the-art software embedded into the message, you cannot forward, copy, or print screen any of the content received. The HG device user can alternatively choose an expiration date for the message to disappear from the recipient's device, or even once the recipient navigates away from the open message. Essentially a self-destruct button, if you will. You'll both be given a prototype version to work on and familiarize yourselves with. I ask that they remain within the premises and you store them inside your lockers. Okay. What do you think? Whew. That's great. I'm excited to work on this project. I'm very grateful for the opportunity. And what are your impressions of your new project colleague, Chris? He seems a little odd. Don't worry, he's a good man. I think you two will work very well together. Oh. Alright. Fairly calm so far. We've reached about 35 minutes in the game, so I think we're just like getting warmed up. I'm gonna make a small drinking break, and I will encourage you to watch the next parts. So I will continue to play this. I don't think I will live stream it because it takes a lot of reading. I do like to read out loud, but it currently is a little bit straining on my voice, and I'd like to not completely wreck it. So I'm really curious where this is headed, because currently I'm not quite sure where it's headed, but it's very like sci-fi, and I have a feeling like it's gonna be mysterious. Like, what was that dream at the beginning about? Like, what is this crazy spy technology? Like, what's gonna happen? Are we gonna need it? The rule says we shouldn't take it out of the office, basically. So are we gonna take it out of the office? Why does Chris's handshake feel like a limp fish? All of those things will be answered. I will continue to play it, and I will make a playlist so that everyone can continue watching it in bits and bobs. With that, I'm gonna finish today's showcase, and as usual, the game info will be in the description box, and I hope you will watch the next few parts and give this visual novel a chance. I'm really looking forward to it. Leave a comment or a like. What do you think? Where is this headed? What are we gonna encounter? And does this seem suspicious whatsoever? Alright, guys. Have a wonderful day, night, afternoon, and see you next time. Bye-bye.